Once I got a hold of what the term was, that there's a way to have kind of a camouflage relationship inside what looked like a relationship, it started to bother me because I saw how we had moments of that in any given day or week. And I even have a tendency a little bit towards like a certain pattern of being disappointed, pissed, and like different things. And it bugged me at first. I didn't see the solution in it, but I saw how clear the problem was.
We describe the threat of intimacy as the threat of coming to care deeply about, rely upon, and accept each other and our lives as they actually are. We believe that people can develop ways of relating to each other that protect themselves from being overwhelmed by anxiety. We call that process, that pattern, irrelationship.
Irrelationship is a way of relating where people get into imbalanced caregiving, where one person is trying too hard and the other person is sitting back and taking it, and they're trying really hard as well, not to receive.
One of my favorite cases of irrelationship from the literature that we've developed is the couple who live in Brooklyn, two professional people who had carefully worked out their household routines, the child care and the taking care of the home in such a way that it looked like they were sharing tasks equally. But what they had actually done was the husband, who was very concerned about his wife's anxiety that she was not a good enough caregiver. So the husband was consciously trying to take up the slack all the time, where he was worried that his wife felt that she fell short. So that you had a situation of unbalanced caregiving where she was allowing him to compensate for what she felt she was unable to do well enough.
Anytime I start to feel anxious, my thing is to just kind of shut down and blank out. And I feel like that's what the book talks about, is how even in an argument I can feel like I'm pretending I'm being intimate, kind of, but really what I'm trying to do is avoid that anxiety that's coming up.
In our work, we've identified a series of behaviors that the child deploys toward his primary caregiver, usually his mother, when he perceives that his mother is in a negative emotional state that makes her unable to provide the care for the child that the child wants or needs. When this takes place, what happens is a role reversal between the child and the caregiver, so that the child actually becomes the caretaker of the caregiver.
And we see the ways that those caretaking reversals usually play out hit some specific patterns. We see that the child then develops ways of caretaking that fall into categories that we describe with the acronym GRAFTS. G for good, R for right, A for absent, F for funny, T for tense, and S for smart. We call those song and dance routines.
Yeah, one person's grafts comes together with the other person's grafts in a kind of a traumatic reenactment of childhood. The traumatic reenactment can be fight-flight, can be freezing, can be playing dead, but what it adds up to is avoiding real attachment in order to manage the threat of intimacy.
Is that since in the last week or two, when I've been just letting myself kind of let go of pattern, I've gotten all this kind of vulnerable sadness, and like I've been like feeling closer to her, and when we're more intimate, and it's a little scary and it's a little unpredictable, and if I'm not met in that moment, it feels easy. I'm easily abandoned. So my old pattern kind of like avoids all of that.
It's really important to us that our book be of use to readers, that it's not just another self-help book. So with that in mind, at the end of every chapter, we have a section called Toward Positive Change. In the section on grafts and song and dance, we ask people to look at their own childhood stressful experiences, identify specific examples of where grafts came up for them, and go through and take an inventory for themselves of which of the grafts they used.
For instance, in the Brooklyn couple that Danny mentioned, we found that the guy was a G, and he was good, and he was doing all this good work for his wife, and his wife was the A, and she was absenting herself so that she could really act as if his care, the care that he was offering her, was effective. And what they really found was that they were using this song and dance routine to protect themselves from accepting how really wonderful their life could be together.
And the great thing about the Toward Positive Change exercises at the end of each section of the book is that each each series builds on the ones that went before it, so that over the course of the book, one comes to a complete understanding of how they moved into Irrelationship, and then discover how to take it apart again.
I have noticed myself, especially like in the past few days, there have been moments where I notice I start to feel closer to you, and in my head I've started to prepare a joke, but I just haven't said it because I just know there's a slight tinge of sarcasm, and it's me trying to, I guess, just sabotage the closeness that's happening. And while I like that part of myself, like I like being funny and I like being sarcastic, I think if I'm too tired or if I can't figure out like a way to really say it that will bring us closer together, I'd rather just skip it.
What kind of joke?
I can't remember.
I want to know the joke now.
I can't remember.